Counter-Narrative News, bringing you daily news today on Wednesday, the 5th of April 2023. The white settler colonial regime in Tel Aviv has decided, as it does every Ramadan holy month for Muslims, to violently raid the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, in which nearly 400 worshippers were in attendance last night. Israeli security forces came in and just brutally beat up the entire congregation and arrested and detained them all. This understandably has led to outrage, with many states in the region expressing protest, and also the resistance factions in Gaza launching a few rockets from the veritable concentration camp, which is the Gaza Strip. The rocket attacks were conducted by the resistance groups of the Democratic Front of the Liberation of Palestine and the Popular Resistance Committees, and then the colonial regime decided to conduct several airstrikes in the Gaza Strip. This is all pointing to a generally intensifying situation as a result of Tel Aviv's decision to ramp up its colonial project to quite a high degree. Going over to Pakistan, really sad development where a young child of 10 years old was killed along with other 10 women and children who were desperately queuing up for a clearly very mismanaged situation of trying to get some free flour for making bread and a few bits of cash. Inflation in Pakistan is around 35% in recent months. Food inflation is between 47 and 50% for the month of March. And the situation for people, like in so many other parts of the world, is becoming intolerable, leading to desperate queues and scrambles for basic survival items like food, resulting in now 16 deaths during the holy month of Ramadan in Pakistan. And again, pointing to the situation there where working class people have no real ability to conduct social struggles that leads to a relief of their lot, let alone controlling society in a just manner for themselves and for environmental sustainability. Going over to Uganda, the president there, Museveni, has claimed that gay people are a threat to the world in quite ridiculous and laughable comments. It would be so if it wasn't for the fact that there's a global movement whose leading poles are the Russian leadership, the US leadership in the form of the leadership of Donald Trump, and different far-right organizations using and abusing religion. And they're all kind of coming together in implementing different homophobic laws in Russia and different states in the US, and then importing this in a racist anti-black agenda against African people. And some right-wing forces in Africa are internalizing and accepting this approach. It's very, very fascinating and interesting, because on the one hand you have this kind of liberalism of neocolonialism, which is promoting a form of quote-unquote gay rights. But then that's being rejected in general for the trajectory of right-wing normalization in Africa and other parts of the region, which is inviting the very white supremacist, violently racist forces into the continent. And there's an interesting organization that's hosted this conference in which Museveni has made his comments around, called Family Watch International, just an openly far-right white supremacist organization. And there were some interesting comments made by a activist in Uganda, a Nicholas Opuyo, who says the wave of homophobia and transphobia in Uganda and the region has nothing to do with Ugandan or African values. It's a disguised campaign by American evangelists, who are white supremacist racist forces, through their local actors. Their campaigns have now been organized under what appears to be local professional entities such as Christian lawyers groups, parliamentary forums, and so on. But they claim about African family values is only a dog whistle, a hate campaign, and an imposition of a narrow Christian worldview upon us all. Once again, the Ugandan gay community is a target of this misinformation, hate and culture wars, end of quote. But it's not a narrow Christian worldview. It's a white supremacist European colonial export which is being internalized. So just a nuance of kind of critique pushing back on that human rights lawyer there. But in general, he is correct. And finally, French trade union leaderships have walked out of a meeting with the Prime Minister Elisabeth Borne in Paris. The meeting hardly lasted an hour. They said, okay, we're going back to the streets. They dropped a banner in central Paris denouncing the French government. And really, it's a source of inspiration for the global working class, what's happening in France, as was before the grassroots resistance in Peru, and before that, the historic and victorious Indian farmers movement. Wherever working class people are uniting to then be combative in their class struggle in the streets is a good situation. It's not a bad situation. That people are gathering directly, socially, connecting, uniting, enjoying, creating joy through resistance is a very important thing, and it should be promoted to inspire people to do similarly the world over in the context of growing colonial white supremacist and capitalist oppression and exploitation across the world. Counter-Narrative News wishes our audiences a fantastic day. Please continue to support us by encouraging your contacts to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Really important episode has gone up about one of the most influential social media personalities for young people under 25 in Britain, KSI, coming out with racist comments against Pakistani people, which has again shown how normalized absolutely toxic racism has become in so many swathes of people wanting to normalize racial slurs against black people and Asian people. We must all unite against this. We wish everyone a fantastic day. Thank you.